Good morning, friends, wherever you are, or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. And welcome to today's Cichlids and Coffee live stream. My name is Ben Ochart, and I will be your host today. Hey, who do we have in the house? Fish Ranch gives us all a hey, y'all. Hey, y'all, back to you, Fish Ranch. Thank you for joining us today. And hey, Cichlid King's in the house, and Salient Aquatics, and Gurvinder Parmar. I have some great moderators. Best moderators on YouTube is what I call them. And they make sure everything stays nice and family friendly. So let's check out the chat here and see who else. I think I saw Cat Sailor. I think I saw Peas and Haps. And Paul Newman, of course. Hey, Paul. Good to see you, buddy. Bad weather, huh? Bad weather where you're at. We're getting freezing conditions here. My dog's water dish outside was frozen this morning. That's always interesting. They're smart enough not to get their tongue stuck on it. Hey, Angelo in the house. And Michael. Hello, Michael. Good morning to you. Z-Zip. Hey, Z-Zip. Cat Sailor. Twisted Adjust. Every time I read that name, Twisted Adjust, I think of my chiropractor. So, Ronald in the house, along with Michael Welsh. Hello and good morning to you folks. And let's see here. Who else? Central Alabama Cichlids. Great name. And welcome to you this morning. Kent AJDK. Hello to you too, my friend. And Gay Aquatic and Pets. Hello to you. And Clayton Bixby. Had to drive 170 miles south and back this morning. So I'm about to stop at a fish store 2 hours from home. Fingers crossed. What are you looking for, Clayton? That's a long drive. Are you looking for some kind of special unicorn fish? That's a lot of miles. All right. Michael Machos in the house. TNZ's Fish House in the house. All right. Hey, Dale. Dale's here. And is that Michelle Crisco? Interesting spelling on Michelle. Hello, Michelle. And greetings to you. Midwest Aquatics in the house. Leslie Perry. Tennessee weather. You're right, Leslie. You know, in the morning, you're like, hey, I think I'll just take a sweater. And then it drops 60 degrees. Oh. Mercedes C in the house. All right. Cat Sailor, after last week's mention of Father Fish, I happened to watch his video of never changing water. Very interesting. I think I would have a hard time covering myself doing that. Oh, convincing? Is that what you mean? Convincing yourself? Well, I actually put out a video that sort of address that to some degree, and certainly with a tank full of African cichlids or even South and Central American cichlids, yes, I have the deep substrate, but I have no plants and no real cleanup crew to speak of, per se. And so, if you take an aquarium and you stuff it full of plants, and you throw a few little shrimp in there, a couple cories, a few little ember tetras, and you probably will. You don't really have a lot of waste production, and the plants are doing a lot of the cleanup, a lot of the heavy lifting. Between the plants and your cleanup crew, not much is really polluting, and so the conversion is going to be good. The nitrates are going to get absorbed up. The ammonia is going to get absorbed up. So, you can do that. And but I too would be a little bit reluctant to go any length of time without really changing the water on a deep substrate African cichlid tank. Now, that being said, you do have to test from time to time. I mean, we might be chasing ghosts. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if we test, some of us change our water just out of habit, and it's just the way we've always done it. We've always changed our water this way. My fish are healthy. I don't want to change anything. And you can make a strong case for that. I just released a video on that. If it's working and the fish look good, go slow. Don't be quick. Don't be a Kardashian fish keeper, I called it. Don't be a trend, a person who seeks out or follows trends in fish keeping, because they're coming through all the time. But at the same time, if your tests show that your nitrates are at a level that you feel comfortable with, and what I feel comfortable with might be a lot higher than what you feel comfortable with. But if your nitrate levels are good, no ammonia, no nitrite, you might be able to go 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Then there's another school of thinking that says, wait a minute, don't wait until you need to do a water change because your tests show you. Stay ahead of it and do preventative water changes. But how do you dial that in without necessarily stressing out the fish? Now, let's balance that against the stress that is inherent, that occurs with water changes. There is stress for the fish that occurs with water changes, whether it's shifts in pH, temperature shifts, adding chemicals, forgetting to add chemicals, forgetting to temperature match, just messing with the tank, startling the fish. So you have all, again, it's a fluid situation, a lot of moving parts, right? So a lot to think about there. So you get me going on these topics. I don't even officially start the live stream. I'm already off on a rant. Wasn't really a rant. All right. Well, let's do that. Let's do the official. More people I notice are getting on, but let's go ahead and do the official start of this live stream. All right. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell and the thumbs up. Gives YouTube the sign that something good is going on, and that's a good thing. I want to shout out to my friends over at Sarah in Germany. I think they're in Hamburg, but they sent me some food that I'm going to be giving out, not in this live stream, but in a future live stream. I'll be giving out some more of that high quality Sarah food, but they also sent me something to test that I will be sharing with you folks. So watch for this. This is called the Sarah X Feeder. I don't know why there's an X in front of it. Make it sound sexy, but the X Feeder, up to 5 times a day. It can feed up to 5 times a day. You can set portion sizes from level 1 through level 10. 120 milliliter, 120 milliliter capacity. Can do flakes and different size pellets. Fills easily from the top and is moisture proof. So watch for a review of this. The timing is good, because I am going to be probably visiting my son in Florida, who is now coaching for the Boston Red Sox. He's no longer with the Phillies, and he's very happy with Boston. Loved Philly, we loved going to the World Series, but now he's with Boston. All right. So let's see here. I have a video for you today. I have a short video. It is a lap of the fish room, but it also is going to get into the different fish that I moved and a couple fish that are MIA, missing in action. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Salient Aquatics, do you use StreamYard? No, I do not. I tried it once and it didn't go well, but that was probably more me than StreamYard. I was not that familiar with it. but it is a better platform if you want to have guests. But because OBS is really not really designed for guests, and split screens, you can do it, but it requires some real fancy maneuvering. So let's see, ex-colleague Kev in the house. Hey, okay. Ex-colleague likes the X in front. Very subtle, ex-colleague. Very, very subtle. All right. Take a quick look at the chat. Peas and Haps Forever. Hey, Ben, this was the weekend. We were supposed to be in Nashville to watch our Winnipeg Jets play your Predators today, but things didn't work out. Would have loved to have had coffee with you. Oh, that would have been fun. It is so much fun at the Predator Arena. You're just going to have a blast. It's just a typical Nashville party that just happens to have a hockey game going on at the same time. And when you finally do get down here, you'll see what I mean. It's actually quite a lot of fun. So come on down. Midwest Aquatics is driving an hour and a half for a fish auction. Man, you got to love it. You got to love that dedication. There's a fish shop called Franklin Pet. I want to go back and visit them. It's about an hour away, and my go-to is the Aquatic Critters. You probably know here in Nashville. They're about half an hour away, but I haven't quite gotten up to that hour drive. But I'd like to. I'd like to do that. Yes, Peas and Haps Forever. These Oscars are getting ginormous, and they're just very interactive. They're like little water dogs, water pups. Hey, buddy. Remember when I got them? They're about half this size, maybe less. The firemouth and the Nicaragua will constantly be facing off throughout the video. Do not be alarmed. If you notice a few specks on the head of one of the chocolates, don't be alarmed. He scraped himself against this giant piece of wood in the tank. This vieja is probably closer to 11 inches now. And we have a surprise guest. Yes, that is the green terror. More about that in a moment. This Nicaragua, absolutely beautiful. So, let's see here. Any more comments I want to take up initially? And who else is in the house? Hey, Mohammed in the house. Abrar Udin, beautiful tank. What are the dimensions? This is a 210-gallon tank. I believe is 2 feet deep and about 24 inches tall. But 210 gallons, and that'll be my best guess. I can get my measuring tape out when I'm playing the video for you, and I'll give you an exact measurement. Hey, Jerry. Jerry's in the house. Looking forward to seeing you at the Daytona Aquashella, Jerry, and your wife Janice. Let's see here. Hey, Ronald. Thanks for sending the Sarah food and stickers. You are welcome, my friend. Your fish are going to love that, Sarah. It is nutrition packed. Leslie Perry, one of my best friends, has no interest in hockey whatsoever, but she goes to a dozen games a year. She has that much fun. It's a big party. It's basically a big party. And, of course, one of my favorite lines comes from the late, great Rodney Dangerfield. I went to a boxing match, and a hockey game broke out. So, oh, he was special. Morning from Virginia, DJ Sus. And, hey, Carrie. Carrie Peltz in the house. What's the pay rate for the guest star? Are you talking about using StreamYard? Oh, geez. I don't know. Haven't given that much thought. All right. So I'm assuming the audio visual is good because I'm not getting any messages that that read "I can't hear you." So that's a good sign. Salient Aquatics, what's your favorite food? Extreme or Sarah? I like them both. I love it. The fish love them both, and the fish do great on both. I mix them, and Sarah has a product, the Granugreens, that is a pellet that provides them with some greens. I really like that a lot. But I really love the peewee and the big fella pellets for the cichlids. I can't choose. I mix them up. I give them a little bit of everything in every feeding. So don't ask me to choose. Now, when it comes to the planted community, the live bear tank, and my planted community tank, the community crave rocks. The fish just devour it, and they look great. My live bears keep having fry. Their colors are popping. The fish in the community tank are robust, and they're not fragile. Even the fish that in the past I've had problems with them being fragile, like neons, rummy nose. They're plump, and they're active. They're colorful. They're happy. So yeah, that's a great food. Michelle Crisco, where are you located? I am in beautiful Bellevue, Tennessee, which is just south of downtown Nashville, Tennessee, about a half hour out of downtown Nashville. Hey, Jason, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I keep my tanks at about 80 degrees, right around 80, 78 to 80 usually. Even though, I mean, there's some fish, believe it or not, like your Buenos Aires tetras, actually prefers a cooler temp, but will acclimate to a warmer tank. Now, well, does that mean that they might not live as long? I don't know. I really don't know. But a lot of locally bred fish will acclimate to different temperatures. But mine are normally at 78 to 80 degrees. Hey, Henry. Yes, I still use the Ultra Fresh. Some of the Ultra Fresh that I had left, I'd like to find some more of it. I did love the fact that they were committed to producing such a clean fish food. And I haven't seen it around. I'm pretty sure I could find it on the internet. But the Ultra Fresh vegetable tabs are really, really good. So yeah, I recommend Ultra Fresh if you can get your hands on some. Jeff Hester, the red Oscar, has got to be 7 inches, maybe, yeah, 7 inches. I got him at about 3 inches. And the albino continues to grow slower. But yeah, I'd put him at about 6.5, 7. And the Vieja at about 10 to 11. As you can see, they're about to go next to each other. Well, maybe not. But here comes the Vieja. So the Dempsey and the Terror and the, I mean, they need to get moving on their growth, or they're going to be the runts. All right, I have a short video for you, a little lap of the fish room, and I hope you enjoy it. Something I threw together. But before I do that, a very quick shout out to everyone that is supporting the channel by being a Patreon supporter. You are some of the Patreon supporters here scrolling on the screen. Big shout out to you. Your monthly support allows me to carry on some of the projects that I'm involved in. So a big shout out to my garage gang. The details are in the description on how to become a Patreon member. It starts for as little as $3 a month. And also, a big shout out to a sponsor of the channel, the Cichlid Shack in Tempe, Arizona. James Largo, a big friend of the channel. And let's play a little video and show you some of Shack's choice, three fish that he picked out for today's live stream. That's James Largo on lead guitar. No, it's not. I'm just kidding. But let's take a look at some fish. First one is one of my favorites, the lemon jake. The fish I'm showing you are fish that are actually in stock right now. And you can call and say, I want the fish that was displayed on today's live stream. This one is coming in at 5 inches for about $64.99. Beautiful specimen, a lemon jake. They can range from mellow to aggressive. You know, usually the jakes they can go either way. I've had a couple of them over the years. One I called a lemon jake, the other one I called a lemon jerk. They are absolutely beautiful. Remind me a little bit of a Jalo reef in their coloration. He also has a Buccochromis spectabilis, a beautiful Buccochromis. This one is very blue, as you can see. As it gets older, it'll maybe lighten up a little bit, start to show more a variety of colors through the body. 5 to 6 inches at $69.99. One of my favorite fish in my aquarium, the Buccochromis spectabilis. And the last Shack's choice, another one of my favorites, this one is the big spot hap. This fish gets big and beefy, and it tends to be relatively mellow. Beautiful coloration, a lot like an insignis, where the body goes from that darker blue on down to a yellowy belly, to a yellow belly. Just an absolute gorgeous fish. 15% on any orders over 100. Does not apply to shipping. And use Shack Attack 15 for that. Use Shack Attack 10 if you're buying food and any dry goods, equipment, things like that. And be sure if you the big spot is $64.99. If you order and use Southwest for shipping, be sure that they deliver to an airport close to you. You don't want to have to drive 4 hours to go pick up your fish. All right. Big shout out to James, the Cichlid Shack in Tempe, Arizona. All right. So let's go ahead, before I take up any more of your questions and comments, let's go ahead and do the short video, a lap of the fish room. Here you go. All right, let's do our weekly lap of the fish room. Let's take a look at each of the tanks, each of the fish, and I've got some updates for you today. About 15 fish have a new home, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Let's go ahead and take a run around the room. We'll start here with the 210 gallon, and Big Vieja's looking good, but you'll see he has a tank mate that he didn't have before, and it is the green terror. The green terror has come over from the 90 and is looking really good. The fish were interested in him, and at one point had him kind of pushed up against the side of the tank, but then they just sort of lost interest and said, okay, well, I guess you're here, so here you are. So I was thinking he was going to get the kind of welcome that most African cichlids get when they arrive to a new tank, which is a little bit of a beating, and everybody's sort of asserting where they are in the pecking order. But instead, you can see he's asserting himself now. Salvini definitely doesn't want him messing around, but he's not backing off from much. Pretty tough fish, and I think he's going to do fine here. First hour, you could tell some fish, were challenging him. which is normal among cichlids. But now it seems to have settled down into everybody just sort of tolerating his presence. Firemouth doesn't know what to make of it. Denny seems to be happy as long as he has this side of the aquarium, which includes his favorite cave over here behind the behind that artificial plant. Oscars were real curious about him, but all they did was come up to him and sort of check him out. The only fish that really kind of made any kind of hostile move towards him was a little bit of the Jack Dempsey, a little bit of the Nicaragua, but it quickly just sort of wore off. But you can see he's actually gotten bigger than the Jack Dempsey, even though the Jack Dempsey was here a lot sooner, and I grew that green tear out from a fry basically. Chocolate cichlid. Look at the pattern on the chocolate cichlid today. Very often he's a solid color, but today he has a stripe pattern. A little bit of red, burgundy in the body. Two of them in here. This tank, of course, now just has a couple little plecos in it. You can see one right there resting on the rock. There's two of them in here. And that's all that's in here now. I had two coolie loaches and I can't find them. I suspect they're buried. Maybe they buried themselves. I know they bury themselves in the sand sometimes. The two plecos are doing fine, you can see, and usually the loaches are inside the caves, but I can't find them. I was going to transfer them and I can't find them. So either they jumped, and I certainly don't see any bodies anywhere, or they're buried. I suspect they're buried. They do bury themselves. Hopefully they'll come out and go into the cave, at which point I can take them out and put them in with the betta fish. All right, let's go over here to the 55-gallon planted tank. It's doing well. And I have now a group of 10 neon tetras as opposed to the 5 I had before. And as soon as I put the 5 in here, they all gathered up and started schooling around, which was really kind of cute. They've kind of separated out a little bit. There's a couple back there. They're a little startled over the camera work, I'm sure. But there they are. So they came out of quarantine. So now I have 10 neon tetras, 5 rummy nose, 5 Buenos Aires, 5 rasboras, I think it's 5 red serpas, I think it's 5 or 6 lemons, 3 cherry barbs, a couple plecos, awesome couple, actually I think this is the only snail in here right now, this pagoda snail. And I've got that whiptail cat hanging around. There's his tail right there. Whiptail cat. Plants are doing okay. A little bit of black algae showing up. I've added some phosphate pads, and I'm doing small water changes just to kind of help the plants along, and of course using Easy Green. And there are root tabs in this tank. This is the 90-gallon, and I've added the additional silver dollars. These are the big ones that were here already, and it was real funny because when the three new ones were brought in, they huddled in between the two big ones, and the two big ones went into almost like a protective mode where they were kind of just making sure everybody would stay away from them. I'm sorry, I said 3 when I added 4. There are 4 small silver dollars now, smaller silver dollars. You can see them all right there. You see the older ones are much larger. I'm sure they'll catch up pretty quick. So now there's six silver dollars in this tank. I originally got them as dither fish, but I really come to like them a lot, just in general, and so I'm really enjoying them. As you can see, the bigger ones are kind of hanging out. The other fish are doing great. Here's that red collar sevrum. You hardly ever see him, usually hiding in the back corner. The geos are camera hogs. The AC Hecli, the electric blue Ochart back there. Beautiful fish. Red spotted gold sevrum. Thinks he sees some food. They jump sometimes, actually hit the lid. They'll hit the lid if they think there's a piece of food up there. That's a beautiful fish. Red spotted gold sevrum. The AC Hecli. I still have albino Hecli on my short list. Hopefully I'll be scoring some of those pretty soon. All right, let's go over here. You'll see an empty 29 gallon, except for there's a couple plecos in here, little baby plecos, and again some pagoda snails. But otherwise this tank is now empty, just like the 55. The other 55 are now available as quarantine or hospital tanks, and I've moved the guppies are all now in the live bear tank. Let me cut down some of the light there so we can see it a little better. There we go. The colors are just great on these fish. I'll bring the light up just a little bit. They think it's feeding time. Beautiful colors. Looks like all the females are holding. One of the guppies, as soon as I put him in, started going after one of the platies, like trying to mate with her. It was a moment of confusion. But all the fish, there's a nearite snail back there. There's also a pagoda snail in here somewhere. Quarry. A lot of fry already in this tank. So I'm going to be getting more fry pretty soon. I may have to end up taking some to the local fish store. The Sprite is doing okay. Here's that one there. Has got some nice roots. A little brown in some sections. Probably needs a little bit of cleanup. Some of the stuff sprouting out the bottom looks good. Like that piece right there is really, really healthy. So maybe some of it is actually hitting some of the good substrate, the plant-specific substrate that is below this bed of sand. There's a new sprout. I don't know if you can see it. There's a brand new sprout coming out. It just erupted from the substrate, so it's a good sign. A little peco. So this is a very busy live bear tank. It looks like almost every female in here looks like it's ready to pop with babies to add to my little baby fish collection. These folks were not moved over. These fish here, the lyre-tailed platies, that's my next move. Got to move them over and put them in here as well. So I'm going to have a pretty crowded 20-gallon tall live bear tank. Got to really make sure I stay on top of that maintenance, which I will. Bettas are doing great. I'll move the light over so you can see them a little better. I'm continuing to feed them once a day. Adjust the light here. They get fed once a day a variety of betta food. And there is a coolie loach and also some little baby plecos in the tank as well. There's one of the plecos over there against the wall. You can see him right there. Where's the betta? Betta's hiding up there in the Sprite. And this betta is being a camera hog like he normally is. Usually has a bubble nest going, which is usually a good sign. You can see his little bubble nest up there. Usually a good sign. Oh, there he is. Let's go over to the 300 gallon. These fish are doing very, very well. Eating, active, good color, interacting well with me. This is the way it is normally. I mean, sometimes, you know, again, when the lights are getting dimmed down or ramped up, sometimes the boss, which is that trout right there, will tend to kind of take control of the tank, but he is truly a benevolent tank boss that I'm very happy with. But all the fish you can see are looking good, waiting to be fed. The Fusco may be one of my most interactive fish. Maybe I'll train him to jump through hoops. So that's this week's lap of the fish room, complete fish room update. And any comments, share them below. Any thoughts or ideas or tips? I'm always learning, my friends. Let me know in the comments below. And if you're watching this in the live stream, let's get back to the live stream. If you're watching it on the replay as a standalone video, don't forget to sub and hit that bell and all that good stuff. Let YouTube know something good is going on. Let's keep the channel growing. The next target is 100,000 subscribers. It's an overwhelming and daunting target, but I think we can do it. All right, that's it for the update. Thank you, my friends, and a special shout out to my Patreon members. Thank you for your monthly support. You're very appreciated. All right, thanks. So there you go. There's your lap of the fish room. Hope you enjoyed that. And hey, Davey liked it. Great lap. And thank you for that super chat, my friend. Looks like Robert hit me with $9.99. Thank you so much for that. Your help is appreciated. Someone mentioned Ultra Fresh. This is what is called Ultra Fresh. If you can get your hands on some, it comes in a variety of types. This one happens to be the vegetable shrimp pie, and up to 25% of shrimp meat. So it's a very dense, protein-rich food, very good quality. No fillers, no dyes. And I imagine it's this is a sinking type pellet, and it's good for both fish and, of course, all catfish, plecos, what have you. What I normally do is I have a container like this here. This is an extreme cichlid peewee container. And if you look inside of it, if you saw this in my recent video, if you look inside, you'll see just a whole mix of sizes and colors. And what you have going on there is there's some different kinds of extreme and Piscine energetics, and some of the Sarah Granu Green, and there's a couple of other types. Now, if you hear some background noise, there's a big project going on my yard right now, and they're running some machines over the grass, doing some seeding and things like that. So that'll be if you hear some background noise, that's what that is. Let's see here. Don't be alarmed. The garage is not being blown away. We do get up to 60 mile per hour gusts sometimes. That can be pretty interesting. All right, so let's take a look at your comments. Going into the chat here. Let's see. Salient Aquatics, how come you're not fixing your own yard? Because I'm here with you, that's why. Oh, somebody asked me about discus. Yes, discus are still on the short list of fish I hope to get into in the future. So if you had to put them in order, you have the probably the AC Hecali albinos, then the probably those would be probably at the top of the list for fish I'm looking for, and then below that, probably after I figure out what to do with the fish in the 90, turn the 90 into a discus tank, fill it up with some big live plants, and maybe move some of the fish out of the planted tank and have them be tank mates with the discus, like the neons and rasboras. Those are all great discus tank mates. So, something like that in the future. I haven't quite given up on that project. All right, let's see here. Fish Tank Frank is relaxing. That's a good thing to do on the weekend. Why not? And Excali, let's see here. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them now. Thank you so much for that tip on the Sprite, Jerry. I will be doing that. I do use root tabs and simple green fertilizer. Zai Pang, hey, wanted to say it's cool you're one of the few YouTube fish person not trying to sell expensive scams versus offering honest advice like using sponges as biomedia. That certainly didn't make me popular with the didn't make me popular with the folks who sell media, but I've got to be honest about it. I mean, it works. It works. It provides a tremendous amount of surface area and is reusable forever. And so you just got to call it like it is. My last review on that siphon system, that was not that popular a product. I mean, the review was, I think the review was a bit generous. I am going to try it again. I'm going to try it in a smaller tank as a touch-up siphon system and see how it does, just to see, because I mean, using it in a tank this tall was sort of a test by fire, but hey buddy, but we'll see how that works. And but thank you for that, Saipang. I appreciate that. Now I hope you don't change your mind after I do the review of the I'm going to be doing that review of that USP, the uninterrupted power source, which comes in, I think it's about $2,000. It's not cheap, and it's an expensive unit. But if you have a large fish room with a lot of fish, if you have corals, saltwater, $500, $600 in African cichlids, yeah, having a backup is going to be very, very valuable for you. So watch for that review. And that one does come in does come in on the expensive side, but again, it's all kind of relative. There is a discount code you can use for that, and they will accept 3 payments. So it saved my bacon on the day I was filming the review. It saved my bacon. Now I look back on what I filmed, because of the stress I was under, because we were in a 15-hour blackout, I really didn't like the video. So I think I'm going to kind of redo the review and and then go ahead and post it. So watch for that review coming up in the future. I suspect we're probably about 2 weeks out. So let's see here. I am looking at your comments. Yeah, Jerry, 2,000 is expensive. I'll check. Maybe it's 1,400, but I'll check. It's expensive. It handles 2,000 watts. So if you have 2,000 watts of things running, it'll run it for 10 plus hours. But I mean, so you could use it to run your fridge. You could run your if you have some of those Shisei internal pumps that use like 3 watts, you could run a large number of them for probably about 15 to 20 hours without really any problem. So it's relative, it's relative, and yeah, a gas powered one is pretty good. If you're set up to be able to use something like that. Michelle Crisco is asking, first and only cichlid, 6 2-inch platinum parrots, fry hatched, and now parents banished 4 other adults to the corner. Yeah, that's going to happen. I mean, and that is 20 liters is probably a little light, a little light for what you have going on there. I would, you're probably going to need more space. Maybe even remove the other fish for a while, and definitely consider getting a larger tank. I mean, sometimes folks ask me about the relative peace that exists in my African cichlid tank, and even to some degree in this tank. And I tell you, an important part of the equation is the fact that it's a very large tank. I mean, you've got 210 gallons, you've got 300 gallons in that African cichlid tank. I mean, it's a big setup. It's a big setup. So that gives them a feeling of, like there's just a lot of territory. They don't feel like they have to really fight to defend this. Now, when you get into breeding behavior, some fish are going to be really, really crazy, and really fend off everything. But those are good parents. They're good parents. They're just trying to protect their young. So that's not a bad thing. But yeah, you may eventually need to get into another type of aquarium, a larger aquarium. Cichlid Kings started using the cichlid lake salt with water changes. Now, this is not necessarily a salt. It is more a trace mineral. A trace mineral that is in the same proportion as the trace minerals are found in Lake Malawi. Now, you could say, wait a minute, these fish are probably many generations away from Lake Malawi. True, but still, those trace minerals are absorbed through the body of the fish and are great for them. And I do the same thing, Cichlid King. If you use the dose that they recommend and you have a large tank, and most people with African cichlids have large tanks, you're going to run through a lot of that stuff. It's getting real expensive. So I just put in my 300 gallon, I'll put a big heaping tablespoon in there, and they'll get nutrients that way. Between that and the food, I think they're doing okay. Otherwise, yeah, you'll go through a lot of it. Let's see here. Any other questions? Now is the time to ask. And yes, even a 20 long is a bit small for that, Michelle. Just keep that in mind. You're going to need probably a little bit more. If they're going to continue breeding, probably a little more space, or just have them in their own tank, you know, and just start making fry, selling them to the local fish keepers. For those of you that are curious, I'll show you. Well, maybe I won't. I finished my I finished the CChem, but I'm now using Fritz probiotic Rift Lake cichlid salt, which is essentially the same thing, except they add a little bit of probiotic in it. It is specifically for African cichlids, and it contains simulates African Rift Lake chemistry, creates ideal conditions for successful breeding. Added probiotics promote water quality and health, and multi-lake formula. So they give you different doses for the different lakes. Like I said, I just use a tablespoon, and you can see it here. If you can make that out. It's essentially the same thing as the Malawi Lake salt you get from CChem, except it does have the probiotics. I don't think the CChem product has the probiotics in it. Cat Sailor, you are welcome for that tour. My pleasure. And I hope you enjoyed it. It will probably come out as a standalone video, and you can watch it again later if you want. Stop by, give it a thumbs up. All right. Let's see. Any other questions jump out at me? I am back on the chat here. If you have a question, ask me now. Carrie, my OB had 40 plus fry yesterday. Told the hubby he can't retire now because he has children. That's a lot of mouths to feed. That's a lot of mouths to feed. My favorite people are people with a sense of humor. 40 fry. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Wow. Brian says that there's a hot spring that had, I guess someone dropped some fish in it, huh? That's pretty amazing, actually. Angelo, I use Fritz Rift Lake salt. Yep. Good stuff. I like Fritz. And, you know, I was going to comment earlier, when you're comparing foods, I love the extreme food because I've seen the video from the breeding location, the fish farm of the gentleman who started extreme food, and I saw the fish that he had. He was sort of hand making the formula and always tweaking it and fine tuning it, and until he came up with the formula that gave him the most vibrant colors and the healthiest fish. So I love the way he did it. You know, he just kept getting feedback from users and then tweaking the formula. He sort of did it in a very live interaction, sort of anecdotal way. And then on the other side of that, you have Sarah, who has a team of scientists, and they've been at it for like over 40 years, and they have laboratories. You know, Extreme's laboratory was his fish farm. watching how the fish reacted and colored and grew and bred based on what he was feeding them, and then changing the formula, then watching. And whereas Sarah is more of, microscopes and test tubes, and they really have a true science team. Someone made a comment about how very often the ingredients are going to be close, but the differences are going to be water quality. That's right. Some of these foods do have fillers and things that will cloud up your tank, and some of them have high phosphates, and phosphates, of course, will contribute to algae, blue-green algae. I believe even blackbeard and your regular green, your phosphates are just not something you want to have a lot of in your aquarium. Almost impossible not to have some, but you're gonna don't want to have a lot of that. All right, Whip Swirl, not too busy, too hung over. What have you been getting into, Whip Swirl? You been drinking? I read something brutal by Winston Churchill, a prime minister, a lady who's the prime minister, and I forget her name. I want to say Alistair. Went up to him and said, "Winston, you are disgustingly or horribly drunk." And his response was, "But tomorrow I'll be sober and you'll still be ugly." Brutal. Winston Churchill was brutal. All right, any more questions? Any more questions? Sundar. Oh, you know what, Sundar? We had a what we call daylight savings time, and which I hate, but we spring forward an hour, we fall back an hour, so the clocks went up an hour. Now I heard something very interesting. Heart attack rates go up almost 20% after daylight savings time, after we lose an hour, and then when we gain an hour, they go down like 20%. And the conclusion being, get your sleep. Apparently when you miss some sleep, heart attacks are more frequent. I thought it was pretty fascinating. And I didn't see the study, but I thought it was still very fascinating. All right, let's see here. Any more questions? Cichlid Kings, my boys got downsized from 180 to 75. Too many murders? Yeah, you'll notice I don't have any OBs anymore, Cichlid Kings. OBs, that little switch we talk about in their brain that will flip and turn them into serial killers. OBs and albinos, I think, have that switch sort of, the way you can take a trigger and sort of half cock it. I think they're half cocked all the time and ready to go off. So just something to think about. Glitter Jig, can you tell us how to identify the sex of young sapphire parrots? Is there somebody on the stream that knows about sapphire parrots? How would you sex them? How would you sex a sapphire parrot? Can you please answer, Glitter Jig? And I know with our African cichlids, we turn them over and we look and we think we got it. And I once thought I had sexed a Malawi hawk. It was a Malawi hawk back in California. Brought him out, put him under a bright light, checked him out, and yep, that's a male. Let's wait to color up. Fast forward a year, it was a female. So, all right. If I missed any super chats, thank you for super chats. That is a way for you to support the channel by throwing a little money at the channel. Thank you for those of you who have super chatted. Cichlid Kings, yes, I think this 210 gallon, I know you're answering Mohammed, is around 72, 24, 28. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. It's very tall, and so it's, I have to get up on a ladder if I want to reach the stuff on the bottom. The 300 gallon is not as tall, so it's easier to work on when I need to get something on the bottom. So advantages and disadvantages. Any taller than this would be very hard to work with. You know, I don't have the longest arms in the world. Well, it looks like we're already on the hour. If you have any questions, I'll go ahead and take a few more up. Some of you were talking using coral as a substrate, Salient Aquatics. I used a what they called crushed coral, and I thought it would be like sand, but when I received it, it was like big shells. And by big, I mean from a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch in size, some a little larger, some a little smaller. And it was Carib Sea, cichlid specific, and the pieces trapped, like you say, trapped a lot of detritus the way this substrate does. This has to be vacuumed because it traps a lot of detritus. My other tanks, I never vacuum. I never vacuum them. They don't, the water movement lifts the detritus up into the water column and it goes into the filters. This has to be, from time to time, actually vacuumed, even though I have a 3,500 gallon per hour wave maker on the far end. It's on a timer, so it's not blowing the fish around all the time, but I still have to do the changes. I am so happy that this green tear is acclimating so well in this tank and is having a relatively peaceful first day in his new home. He's not a wimpy fish, so he can hold his own. And I think that has a lot to do with it. Whips World comes in with $5. Thank you, my friend. Sorry for my tardiness. I do not have a good excuse. Please forgive me, almighty fish. Oh, you are forgiven. Now, go find a good, authentic Mexican restaurant and get a big bowl of what they call menudo, and you'll feel better. You'll feel better, I assure you. Hey, Salient, thank you for that, my friend. A Pleco fund. You know, I was thinking about going to a store, and you know how they always have a Pleco. You know, most fish stores have a big Pleco that outgrew the person who bought it, right? They bought it, they put it into their 20 gallon, and you know, a year later it was 7 inches long. I was thinking, you know, it'd be kind of cool to go and rescue just a big Pleco. I'm talking maybe, I don't know, 6, 7 inches, and throw him in here because he could hold his own, or maybe throw him in the African cichlid tank and put a cave in there, right? So he can go and retreat in the cave if he has to. But just a big Pleco. The only problem is, as much as I like Plecos, I think they're amazing fish, but they are really, really dirty. They are poop factories. And the longest poop I've ever seen in all the years I've been keeping fish was a Pleco poop. And I'm not kidding. It was about 14 inches long, and the Pleco was about 5 to 6 inches. And he was dragging this thing. It was like, you know, he was like one of those airplanes that have a banner behind him, you know, and he was like, anyway. So they are definitely poop machines. So that's the only drawback. All right, let's see here. So Sundar, yes, it's an hour earlier than it was before in compared to India time. And Sundar, I imagine in India you don't change your clocks twice a year like we do here in crazy America. Zaipang. I started using Ripashi. I have some Ripashi food that was sent to me from my friend Linda over at Super Cichlids. This, I forgot to mention, is also mixed in with my food. Oh no, wait a minute, Ripashi. This is this is Denachi. Denachi, Ripachi, same. Anyway, XL Pro. I'm mixing some of this in now. Denachi, not Ripashi. There you go. Thank you to Lisa over at Super Cichlids. Check out Super Cichlids, supercichlids.com. She is now offering a beautiful collection of discus fish, and she offers all kinds of great stuff. Love those guys. And they've been a friend of my Facebook group, Ben O' Cichlid, for quite some time now. And it's a family business. Love to support family businesses, just like the Cichlid Shack. And when you think about the aquarium co-op, family-owned business, love watching these smaller, the privately owned operations grow and make it, and they certainly have. All right, let's see. I am cruising the chat to see if anything else jumps out at me. If I didn't say hello or good morning, it doesn't mean I don't love you. It just means I didn't see it. Whips World, you can watch the replay. I've arranged it for you to be able to get onto the replay. So. Everybody's a comedian. Let's see. William Dwyer. Dwyer, am I pronouncing that right, William? Starting a 75-gallon Peacock cichlid tank. What's the best peacocks to start with? I have 3 other tanks of different kinds, but this will be my first cichlid tank. Anybody want to jump into that? I think 75 gallons is a good size. Okay, you ready? You have a piece of paper, a pencil? Get a fluorescent, bicolor 500, a Jalo Reef. That's the Placidochromous Jalo Reef. Get yourself a Taiwan Reef. That's a Protomella, so you'll have to have a few veggies in there occasionally. Pick up a Synodontis catfish, a bushy nose pleco, and a ruby red or a German red. Ruby red I prefer, but if you can't find one, get a German red. And pick up a Benga Sunshine. And that will be a good startup group. You can add perhaps a Tangerine Tiger or an Imperial Tiger. But I think that would be a good starting point for you. Start with those. Let them put on a little bit of size. Are you going to get them young and grow them out? Or do you want to pick them up? If you want to pick them up already grown up, consider some place like the Cichlid Shack. Get good quality stock. If you want to get guaranteed males, you're going to pay more, but you'll have full color right away. Or if you get them small, buy them in groups of 3 to 5, and then you can pick the one that turns out to be the showstopper, and then either sell or give away the other ones. But yeah, bicolor 500, fluorescent, ruby red, definitely a Benga Sunshine, possibly a German red, definitely a Synodontis cat, and a bushy nose pleco, and you'll be on your way. I'd say lemon Jake. Lemon Jake might be a little bit, rough. I think the Jalo Reef might be a better. To go with that blue-green combination, you know, the blue-yellow, blue-green, something like that would be a better choice. But there you go. Anybody else want to jump in? What do you suggest for William on his 75-gallon Peacock adventure? So that should be fun. It should be a lot of fun. All right, let's see. Inventory King in the house. Hey, buddy, how are you? If you don't know Inventory King, go check him out on YouTube. Beautiful saltwater, coral. I imagine he still has some of his cichlids. But, yeah, these shirts are available they are available at my Teespring store, where you can also pick up mugs. So you can be drinking out of the official mug during the live stream. But good to see you, Paul. Always a pleasure to have you here. All right, so let's see here. All right, I think Whips World got a black arowana. Wow. I should have pulled the trigger. All right. Yeah, those are beautiful fish. Arowanas are amazing. But what's the best first advice you give to anyone buying an arowana? What is the best first advice you give to anyone buying an arowana? Who can guess what I'm thinking? Number one, you better have a big tank. You better, at least to start, 100-gallon and think about 300 or larger in the future. Number two, you better have a very heavy, thank you very much, Salient, put bricks on your lids, because they will jump like a bullet and knock off your plastic lids, your plexiglass lids. They'll just knock them right off. And I think, was it Joey, the inventory, Joey, the king of DIY? I think he had a beautiful arowana, and he had a freshwater, I think he had a snake, freshwater, maybe a large rope fish, I forget what it was, but both of them jumped, broke the lid off, and they were both crispy critters on the floor. So yeah, definitely reinforce that. All right, my friends, that's it for me. You are the best. And thank you so much for spending an hour with me on your weekend. I know you have a lot to do. I'm going to go do a little more filming, get that UPS uninterrupted power supply video done, and then go spend some time with my wife, my daughter, my son-in-law, and my granddaughter. So that should be fun. All right, my friends, thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you next weekend. Look for some upcoming videos. And thank you, Super Chatters. Thank you to my wonderful moderators. Thank you to my Garage Gang Patreon members. And thank you to all of you for sitting in and giving the video a thumbs up. Thank you, my friends. And that's it for me. Bye-bye.